Hi everyone, welcome back to this lovely page from Johanna Basford's Rooms of Wonder. We have got this colour cube card. I don't think I showed you, I think I did show you the front actually, number 32. And we're going to be doing the greys today. So I'm going to make a start with that. I picked out the cold grey 1, 2 and 3, which sorry, I just got really distracted then. And I'm going to have a go. I'm going to actually use the cold grey 1 first and see if it shows up for some of the areas. I did say to you in the past video, so I'm just putting my cardi around me, I've got very cold, that I was going to do this bit lightly and I'm going to see if it works. I'm going to come in a little bit closer but not too close. There we go, because I want to make sure you stay in shot. There we go. So I'm just going to brush. My page is a bit dirty. There we go. So let's start. This is cold grey 1. It's really, really pale. And I'm going to just start applying it to here and see whether it even shows up or whether we need to go a bit darker. Can you see it? I can see it a little bit. I'm going to keep going with that. I'm putting it quite a lot of layers down to make it show up a little bit more. I'm quite interested in working with some of these very pale colours, particularly for things like white flowers. I noticed that there are a lot of people who colour really beautiful white flowers and they probably use, sorry I'm shading myself there, they use really light greys. I'm going to have a go at that sometime. Practice so much I want to learn and practice. It's what makes colouring so fun. There's always something new to learn. I'm going to do this across piece here. Now I've got this sort of wrinkly edge, haven't we, where we're looking inside. I'm assuming this is a clock. I keep saying it's a clock because at the very bottom, which isn't in shot now, we've got this sort of weights and what looks like a pendulum. So I sort of assume it's a clock. Right, that's that one. And I'm going to do these sides as well. Let's bring you into shot. There we go. Now, I'm not sure if that shows up enough or not. I can't decide. I'm going to say it does. Because, you know, it's our colour. And so I'm really just blocking this in because it's such a pale colour. I might add some other colours, some other greys to it to darken it up in a bit, but I don't know yet. There we go. And oops, you can't see the very bottom. I'm just going to do this across piece. In this really light colour. I think she calls it white smoke. And I'm going to do this edge. But I always think smoke is a bit more browny, like dirty. You know, but there we go. Okay, so this is probably going to be my last little bit of the light colour. Yeah, then we're going to move. What I'm actually going to do is go back up to the top. Let's have a look. Let's sort of work our way down, shall we? So we've got our chimney. I'm going to actually grab the light one again and do this bit. So this is cold grey 1 here. Okay, now I'm going to move to cold grey 2. I'll show you it. And I'm going to do the bricks. I'm going to do them all the same colour, but I'm going to try and make them a bit darker around the edge and a bit lighter towards the middle. It's not going to show up massively with this light colour, and the little ones you just can't. But we'll see how it goes. Like that. Now I'm going to use this light colour for all this background too, but not yet. I think we'll do the flagpole here and make it, leave a gap in the middle. And now cold grey 3. Now if these are too pale for you, you can substitute. You don't have to use exactly the colours on the cards. So if you're looking at this thinking, I'd rather actually have a bit of a darker grey, then start with the cold grey 3, do 3, 4 and 5 instead of 1, 2 and 3. You know, you can do that. Now these bits in here, I was thinking you could see through them and maybe they were just gaps, but now I'm looking at them, I think they're not. I want them to be like indented bits. So I'm just going to layer up that cold grey 3 a bit more to make that a really dark bit. There, I'm happy with that now. Now our windows, I'm going to do the frames in this cold grey 3, do them dark. I quite like the frames to sort of stand out a little bit. It also means I can, if I wish, colour the glass with the very lightest grey and you'll see a contrast. I'm going to do the window on the door same way. And around the frame, the frame, sorry, like that. And the hinges. Now you could do a little bit of shine, make it look silvery. I think I'll try that on the handle. So if I go around and leave the centre empty, same on this one, it might look a bit like a silvery shine. It's quite difficult to do on such a small area. Now I've got my cold grey 2. I've just realised something. All of these have trunks. We don't have any brown. What are we going to do? Right, let's do this background. I want to layer this up enough so you can see that it's darker than this. Okay, now ideally I would be going side to side with my colouring so that my stripes were in the same direction as the wood grain, which is actually drawn in, but I can't always do it when I'm fiddling around little details. If I turn my book round, I'm sure I could, so do that if it helps you. Yeah, what are we going to do for those tree trunks? So I think we're going to have to do them green. I just got a shift in my chair. Got a bit of a sore back today, so I'm just trying to look after it and make sure I don't sit awkwardly. I think, yeah, I was doing a jigsaw yesterday, and I think I was just leaning awkwardly. So anyway, I need to be careful and look after it today. Trying to give myself a bit of TLC today because I'm feeling really sort of washed out. It's Monday and I feel like I've got no energy for the week. I was enthusiastic about doing this, so I thought, right, I'll treat myself. Instead of doing any other sort of work, I'll come and colour this page. So that's what I'm doing. It's my first bit of looking after myself. And yeah, I was having a few thoughts about ways that I could reduce my workload a little bit. But I think we sort of accepted that between now and the summer, when my boys are doing their exams, it's going to be quite full on. Sort of, you know, they can't help in the house so much because they're studying, which is fair, I think. And they're going to be a bit tired and snappy, which is a bit emotionally draining. But they're usually really good boys, so I can forgive them for that. And just sort of trying to wait on them and check they're getting on with their work. I find that really difficult, trying to nag them all the time to get on when I know they would need a rest and things like that. It's quite tricky. Okay, so there is the background. You can see this a little different, but for me, I want a little more shadow under here. So I'm going to use this as the cold grey 3 and just gently run it along here. I don't want it to be as dark as it is on the window frames and things like that, but we can still get a little bit in here to just give the idea that there's a bit of shadow, and I think it helps it to all just sort of stand out a little bit. Doesn't look quite as flat. It's a bit of fun. I can't really see what I'm doing from on this side. I don't know why the angle isn't right for me. No, that bit isn't close enough to the line. If you accidentally leave a gap between your colour and the line, it doesn't quite work. There we are. Excuse me, I'm going to do a little bit on the chimney as well. On this edge where Johanna's drawn a line, and under this bit. It might seem a bit finicky, but yeah, I like a few details. A little bit under here. I might just fade it down there, and the same on this side. Okay, now this is my darkest grey, and as I said, I was going to do that for the background of this, the back wall where there would be the most shadow. So that's what I'm going to do next. Now I want to try and keep it fairly even, which isn't always easy, especially when I'm colouring around a selection of intricate teapots and nattering to you at the same time. But I shall do my best. That's all we can do. Now this one's confusing because the line of the shelf would really go through the bottom of the handle, but I'm just going to colour it all in like that. We have some very intricate details on these teapots, but I have a plan. I have a cunning plan. Who knows that quote? If you're American, you may not. It's from a UK TV show called Blackadder, with people in you may know, Tony Robinson, Rowan Atkinson, Stephen Fry, I think. Oh, Hugh Laurie, he's big in America, isn't he? So yeah, a lot of great comedians. I've coloured right over that handle, which I didn't want to do, but you know, it's done now. So yeah, a lot of fun. And the character, the main character has a, always needs some help with something, and the his sort of sidekick always comes up with the most stupid plan. He'll say, I've got a cunning plan, it's the most ridiculous plan ever, and yet they end up doing it anyway, and yeah, it's always rather far-fetched and silly, but it's quite, at the time when it was on, I found it really funny. When I watch it back now, maybe not so much. I don't know if my sense of humour has changed. I think times have changed. There's sorts of things that were then acceptable to laugh at perhaps aren't so much now, and that might be partly it. I think some of the things, comedy that we got away with back in the day, just doesn't feel right anymore, which is interesting. But I don't watch a lot of TV nowadays. I like a quiz. At tea time I watch a quiz when I'm chilling in the evening and colouring. I usually pop one on my computer and have a watch. I like a quiz, makes you feel clever. Yes, this one. And so that's fun. And I like programmes that are happy, positive, you know, that aren't drama. I don't watch dramas, I find them too depressing, and soap operas. It's just like, no, you don't want all that, you know, it's too not happy enough for me. Okay, so there's our sort of background. Then I'm going to use the cold grey 2. And for that, I'm going to do the side walls and the shelves. I haven't thought about this lower bit much yet, but we'll just go and do this. Now, I think these side walls might be a little bit darker than the actual shelf. So I'm going to try and layer up a little bit more on those. I'll actually do all of them first. Yeah, when I was this sort of teenager, I used to watch a lot of telly. We did have a computer, but it was the thing you did, which kids don't do now, you know, of an evening. But actually, my mum would have the TV on all afternoon, I think. So when I came home from school, it was already on. So TV be on, you'd have your tea, do your homework in front of the telly. I'd usually do my homework while the news was on because I wasn't interested in watching the news. And then later in the evening watch a few comedies. So here on this shelf I'm going to try and do it a little bit lighter than the side, but obviously it's quite a light grey anyway, so we want to make sure we can see that I've actually coloured it. I think the greys are showing up. I don't know if it's that my eyes were adjusting to looking at the light colour or if it's just, you know, it's working. It's really interesting. I've never coloured an item like this in grey. I usually use the greys for smoke or shadows or things like that, but never for like the main colour like this. All stones, bricks, of course, but this, you know, I would have naturally coloured it in brown like wood. Okay, now we've got this inside bit here. I think because this is the palest grey, I think I want it to not be that pale, so I'm going to use this, the coal grey too, but do it fairly pale. Probably makes no sense at all. But anyway, just not do it too hard a layer. And down here. Now the shelf ends I really should do in the coal grey one. So that's what I'm going to do. Just checking you can see. I hope I'm not too squiffy. And I'm often squiffy. In the UK, squiffy is a term that used to be used back in the day to mean drunk. I'm not drunk. That would make for quite a different video. I know my boys watch people who make videos when they're drunk. No, I don't drink anyway, so finding me drunk would be quite tricky. Right, so there's our palest. I can't decide what to do for this background and shelf. I think we'll do the... we'll use the coal grey 3 for the background bit. Although it's more forward, isn't it? No, we'll use coal grey 2. I have a little argument with myself. Hold on a minute. Coal grey 2. And we'll do all the drawers. So they're a little bit darker than the surround, but I'm not layering up too much. I don't want them too dark. They could probably look about the same colour as the shelf. No, I don't like alcohol, so I don't drink it, you know. And I'm glad, because when I look at all the health problems you can get with it, then it's probably better for me to not be having it. Especially as I have a very addictive personality, I think. I get easily addicted to things, so no, it wouldn't have been good, would it? But luckily I've never had anything really bad that I've become addicted to. Sugar, chocolate, that sort of thing. But I've seen people in my family get addicted to things that are worse, and it has helped me to be more careful. Now I want this bit to be darker than this bit, so I'm going to do this really lightly. I don't want it to be as pale as this front part. There we go. Now the handles and things I'm going to do in the coal grey 3. But yes, I'm absolutely, definitely addicted to colouring and Candy Crush. Right, there's the inside part. I'm hoping when we do the pink it's not going to all disappear, but we'll see. Now we've got the bottom. Oh, hang on. I just moved something off my desk so I can push up. So we've done this outline in the very pale. I don't think I want to use the really dark one for this. I'm just going to use Cold Grey 2 for this background part. I'm going to sharpen it and I'm just going to use it fairly evenly all over, to be honest. Excuse me, I've got that frog back in my throat again. Had it the other day. Yeah, my poor nephew was really poorly yesterday, nasty cold. And my sister's, it got worse through the day. When they arrived at my mum's house, he was absolutely fine. And then he just got sneezier and sneezier, and she said he couldn't stop sneezing all evening, then he couldn't sleep very well. He kept waking them up and ended up in their bed, even though I think he's about 8 or 9. But it's horrible, isn't it, when you're poorly? So she hasn't slept because he was keeping her up. So she'll probably catch it. I don't know where he got it from, because his dad's had a cold before Christmas, which he had when he came to visit us, and I caught it, but it was of nothing, you know. It's really just a really, really little cold. It didn't worry me at all. I'm going to also do the fence in this colour. Now I feel like it should be white, really. Can you see it? Yeah. But we haven't got white in our palette, so, and I'm probably, not sure, going to keep the background white, so I don't really want to, I don't want it to be completely white, or else it won't show up, really. There we go. Now, how are we doing for time? We're fine. These pieces down here, obviously these are our weights and our pendulum for our clock. I think the weights could be a nice silvery colour. Yes, I'm going to keep with the Cold Grey 2 for a minute, and I'm going to do a hard outline down each side like that, and then fade it towards the middle, leaving a white line, so hopefully it looks shiny and metallic. That's my first idea, like that. Then I'm going to get the Cold Grey 3 and I'm going to draw over these lines, so, but still leave that white in the middle, and I hope that will help it to look even more shiny, which I think it worked. I'm happy. It looks like it worked from my eye anyway. I'm going to sharpen this up because we've got those tiny little dots to do. Cold Grey 3. Now the reason I'm using a really dark pencil for these is because they're small. If I try to use the light one, I wouldn't be able to get it to show up. So I don't know if you saw what I did there. I'll talk you through it on this side. Sorry, I just got carried away. So lighten it towards the middle, but leave a white gap so it looks shiny, and it sort of, the shine lines up with the shine on there. For this one, now it looks like a rope, but I think we'll just do it with the same pencil and make it dark along the edge. Try and make it look a bit shiny. And I'm going to use the dark to go around the edge of this. Like that. I've got some really tiny dots by that teapot. Okay, so there's our sort of frame, and then the Cold Grey 2 for the background. I'm just going to give it a sharpen. Oh, excuse me sniffing. I'm going to take this a little bit slowly to try not to colour in the dots. It's really hard to see. There we go, and we'll do the teapot the same colour as the other teapots when we do those later. Okay, now what I want to do is just a few little touches. Underneath here I want to do a little bit of dark shading. Try not to go over that circle, which I'm going to do in a pink. There we go. I think I'm happy with that. I'm just having a look. I'm wondering about those tree trunks. Should I do them grey? No, I need to do them blue. I'm going to have to do them in a lighter blue to the blue that I did the actual tree. So I'm going to grab this May green and do them in May green. I think it'll work. Why can't tree trunks be green? Some of them probably are. I'm just checking to make sure that's all of it. Now, our windows we haven't done. The cold grey one. Now, there are different ways you can do windows. I've actually got a little video somewhere showing some different ways that I do windows. What I'm going to do with this one is I am going to leave a white outline around the very edge and just put a bit of colour in the middle. And I hope that's going to give the impression that it's shiny glass. With it being such a small area, it's quite difficult. But that's what I'm doing for those. Our glass bottles, not sure yet. Gonna leave those, but I think, sorry, you can't see them. I think I'm gonna do the labels in cold grey 2, the backgrounds of the labels, okay. But we'll do the lids of the bottles in one of our pinks. So that is that. And the scoop, yeah, could be a silver scoop, couldn't it? But I've coloured it in quite solid. There we go. So I think that's it. As I said with the green, and then we added a bit more after, so we'll see whether it's it or not. So there is our card that we used for that, and we used the greys today. So those three. So that is that bit of our picture. We haven't got a lot left, to be honest. I think we'll probably be able to do all the pinks tomorrow in one last video. So that'll be fun. And we may not use all the shades of all the pinks because we've got loads. So we'll just see how it goes, really. But for today, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.